Okay, so here we go with part 2 of the organelles. So we're going to get here with a centriole, and centrioles, hi computer, thanks for saying hi. Centrioles are found only in animal cells. Because what centrioles do is they actually help in cell division, and they divide it down the center, and centrioles, right? So these guys, they're kind of funny looking little things. They look kind of like little stacks of spaghetti or a hashtag. And there they are, floating around inside my animal cell. And there is only one set of them. So easy to identify because there's only one set floating around in there. And so they assist in cell division. There we go. And they form something called a spindle, which we'll learn more about later. All right, cell division divides it down the center. Plant cells don't have this because they do something different when they divide because they have a cell wall. All right, and animal cells do not have that. All right, next one, cytoplasm. So think plasma, like liquidy goo. Cyto stands for cell, plasm for plasma. All right, this is the liquidy goo inside our cell. So every cell has this. It's just the gooey jelly-like stuff that everything's floating in. So I'm just going to point to a blank spot inside my cell, both my animal cell, let me do plant cell, my plant cell. Where can I go? Right here. My plant cell, which are my eukaryotic cells, yuki nuki. And my prokaryotic cell has it in between the ribosomes there too, cushioning those. So even prokaryotes or bacteria have cytoplasm. All cells do. So it is, just like I said, a jelly-like substance, think gelatin, found inside the cell. And all the organelles float around in there. And it is gooey, okay? Gooey stuff. Then we got that cyto again. So cyto for cell, skeleton. It's the skeleton of the cell. All cells have this as well because it's spread throughout the cytoplasm. So if you have cytoplasm, you have a cytoskeleton. So looking at our cytoskeleton, I drew in some little sticks on my prokaryotic cell because really you can't see this unless you dye it. And if you're looking at my animal cell, that's what these little sticks are. And then I got this nice plant cell that's got what it really looks like, which is all these little fibers throughout the cytoplasm. All right, so it makes the internal framework. Just like your skeleton is the framework of your body. And it's made out of these two things. It's made out of microtubules, all right, which are hollow. So think of a toilet paper tube. It's hollow, and they're micro, so they're little tubes. They're hollow. And also made out of these things called microfilaments. Okay? And microfilaments are solid. So it literally says, you think of, if you know what a filament is, then you know they're solid. But if you don't, it's filled, right? It's tiny filled things, so they're solid versus a tube. And that's what all these sticks things are. They're little hollow tubes or they're little filled in solid tubes that are basically helping to give the structure of the cell. Moving on. All right, we're here at the cell or plasma membrane. It has two names. Remember, plasma is just the liquidy goo. So this is the membrane that surrounds the liquidy goo. Oh, can't talk, guys. All right, so like your cytoplasm, or it also surrounds the entire cell, hence cell membrane. I tend to err towards cell membrane, but you may see this either way. So, of course, if you're a cell, you have to have a cell membrane. So in an animal cell, it's the outermost layer of the animal cell. All right, in a plant cell, the outermost layer is the cell wall. It's the inner layer. I'm trying to get this just like the inside here, but on the thing. Did I do it? Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, it's like this line on the inside is your cell membrane, and around the outside is your cell wall. And bacteria, prokaryotes, same thing. They have a cell wall as well, and it's this inner darker line, which is really hard to point out when there's a little ball thing there, okay? That is your cell membrane. So they all have it, okay? It's just the outermost in animal cells. So this is another membrane like we saw the nuclear membrane at the beginning. So it forms a barrier between the inside of the cell and the outside. so that when chemical environments on the two sides can be different. So basically, same thing. It lets some things in and not others. So we have that word again, that semi-permeable. Lets through some things and not others. And there's our cell wall. So cell walls are only found in plant cells and prokaryotes. Animal cells don't have them. That's why we're so flexible, right? We can bend and move. If we tried to bend and move our plants that way, typically we would break a stem off, right? In bacteria, they're only one cell, so they don't even have to worry about all that bending and moving. They're just one cell. So it's the outermost layer in both of these cells. All right. So it is a rigid, we say, rigid wall that protects the cell. That's its job. Rigid wall that protects the cell. Just like the walls of your house protect you. All right, and finally the last one. We have flagella and cilia. Flagella are these long whip-like things, like here's a flagella hanging off my animal cell, and cilia are short and hair-like. So here's my cilia hanging off of my prokaryotic cell, right? So they're both things that hang off the outside. Plant cells do not have them, okay, but animal cells do and bacteria do. So flagella is long and whip-like. All right, so think of like a flag hanging off something long, waving out into the air, flagella. And then cilia are short and hair-like. So I think of the word cilia as short. And usually when you have cilia, you have a whole bunch of cilia. And usually when you have flagella, you just have a couple, though that's not always true. That's the average, okay? So flagella, long and whip-like, and cilia are short and hair-like. And both of these guys are used just for movement, right? So if you think of like a sperm cell has that long flagella off the back of it to help it move and swim towards the egg. And then there's cells like in your throat that have cilia that help move down the mucus that drips down the back of your nose, especially when you have a cold, all right? So we use these a lot in our bodies, and so do other living organisms. Well, that's all of it, guys. So hopefully that helps. Make sure you learn your organelles. You might need to sit down and study. If you have a printer, you could print these out and fold them into little note cards and quiz yourself, because you do need to know your organelles. Good luck, guys. Bye.